At 87 years old, Gregory Peck finally admitted that she was the love of his life. Gregory Peck was born Eldred. Gregory Peck on April 5, 1916, in La Jolla, California. From a young age, Peck showed a quiet strength and a classy way of carrying himself that later became his signature on screen. His early life wasn't easy. His parents got divorced when he was only 6 years old, and he was mostly raised by his grandmother. Even with these tough starts, Peck did well in school. He went to San Diego State University and then moved to the University of California, Berkeley, where he studied English and pre-med. It was at Berkeley that he fell in love with acting while doing plays on campus. That passion got so strong that he gave up his dream of becoming a doctor and decided to chase a career in acting instead, a choice that would turn him into one of the most respected stars in American movie history. Peck's acting career started on stage with shows in local theaters and traveling groups. His powerful presence on stage soon got noticed, and by the early 1940s he was on Broadway. But it was moving to movies that really made him famous everywhere. Peck's first movie was in 1944 with Days of Glory, and he quickly became a big star. His tall build, deep voice, and honorable vibe let him play all kinds of roles, but people especially loved him as characters who stood for honesty, fairness, and kindness. Maybe Gregory Peck's most famous role came in 1962 when he played Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird, based on Harper Lee's book that won the Pulitzer Prize. This part wasn't just a high point in his career. It became a symbol of standing up for what's right and treating people decently. As Atticus, Peck played an honest Southern lawyer who defends a black man wrongly accused of rape in the racist American South. The role won Peck the Academy Award for Best Actor and is still seen as one of the best acting jobs in movie history. The American Film Institute later called Atticus Finch the greatest hero in American movies. That says a lot, not just about the character, but about Peck's own natural sense of doing the right thing that came through in the part. Besides his acting awards, Gregory Peck was also a serious humanitarian and activist. All his life, he used his fame to support causes he cared about, often speaking out against unfairness and inequality. He was a strong voice against the Hollywood blacklist during the McCarthy years, bravely standing up when fear and suspicion shut down a lot of the movie industry. He also backed civil rights efforts, joined anti-war protests during Vietnam, and pushed for getting rid of nuclear weapons. His work for bettering society wasn't fake. It came from deep beliefs that showed in the roles he picked and what he said publicly. He once famously said, "Tough times don't last, tough people do." That line fit both his tough characters on screen and his real-life strength. Peck's list of movies is long and includes great ones like Roman Holiday in 1953, where he starred with Audrey Hepburn, Spellbound in 1945, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, The Guns of Navarone in 1961, Cape Fear in 1962, and The Omen in 1976. His skill let him switch easily between romantic comedies, war dramas, thrillers, and big adventures. He was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actor 5 times, winning once, and got many other honors in his life, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1969 and the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award in 1967, showing not just his talent, but his commitment to helping people. In October of 1942, at the start of what would become one of the most famous careers in Hollywood, Gregory Peck married Greta Kukkonen, a Finnish-American woman whose quiet strength and class would shape his early family life. Greta, born in 1911 in Finland, had moved to the United States and became a calm and refined part of Gregory's world. Together, they started a family and had 3 sons: Jonathan, born in 1944, Stephen, born in 1946, and Carrie Paul, born in 1949. Those early years came with Peck's growing fame in Hollywood, which brought excitement, but also stress. Even with the glamorous public image, the Peck home felt the pressures that fame puts on relationships. Greta, known for her grace and privacy, kept things steady for their kids during those busy times. But after more than 10 years of marriage, they ended it and officially divorced in December 1955. It was a big and sad change in Peck's personal and emotional life. The tragedy that hit the Peck family years later is still one of the saddest parts of Gregory Peck's story. On June 26, 1975, his oldest son, Jonathan, was found dead in his home. Officials said it looked like suicide. Losing his son broke Peck, a man known for staying strong and having strong beliefs. He openly said the pain of losing Jonathan was something he would never fully get over. "It's the most terrible thing that has happened to me in my life," Peck once said honestly. "You never get over a thing like that." The sadness stayed with him forever, showing the soft side behind the strong characters he played on screen. Jonathan had been a smart and thoughtful young man, and the loss left a lasting hurt on the family, changing Peck's thoughts on life and death. During his marriage to Greta, Peck also went through a tough emotional time when he had a short but deep affair with his spellbound co-star, the famous Swedish actress Ingrid Bergman. At the time, both were young, full of feeling, and caught up in the intense mood that the Alfred Hitchcock thriller created. Years later, in a 1987 interview with People magazine's Brad Derrick, Peck talked about the affair, with honesty but care. "All I can say is that I had a real love for her, and I think that's where I ought to stop. I was young, she was young. We were involved for weeks in close and intense work." This admission showed the complicated side of Peck's life. He was someone who could love deeply and feel regret, torn between duty and the strong feelings from working closely and creating art together. Soon after his first marriage ended, another woman became a big part of his life. On New Year's Eve of 1955, just one day after his divorce from Greta was final, Peck married Véronique Pisani, a Parisian journalist and former arts reporter for the French newspaper France Soir. Véronique had first met Gregory in 1952 during an interview right before he went to Italy to film Roman Holiday. Their meeting was just work, but something about their talk stuck in Peck's mind. 6 months later, he contacted her for lunch. What started as a simple meal turned into a lifetime together. The two became very close, connected by respect, smart conversations, and deep romance. Gregory and Véronique had 2 children together, a son, Anthony, born in 1956, and a daughter, Cecilia, born in 1958. Anthony later worked in entertainment and for a while was married to the famous supermodel Cheryl Tiegs, making news as a mix of Hollywood and fashion stars. Cecilia Peck made her own name as a respected documentary filmmaker and actress, carrying on her dad's artistic side with work on social justice, women's rights, and activism. Even with the pains and complications in Peck's personal path, his marriage to Véronique stayed strong and lasting. They were married for almost 50 years, and everyone said their relationship was full of real love, trust, and shared beliefs. Véronique supported him through the hardest times in his career and life, including losing Jonathan and his later charity and political work. Peck often said she kept him grounded and gave him strength through tough moments. Gregory Peck was also a proud grandfather. His influence continued through his grandchildren, some of whom went into creative fields. One grandson from his first marriage is actor Ethan Peck, who looks a lot like his famous grandfather and has kept the Peck name going in movies and TV, especially playing a young Spock in the Star Trek series. The Peck family staying in the arts shows the lasting effect Gregory had not just on movies, but on his own family too. At 87 years old, Gregory Peck finally admitted she was the love of his life, Ingrid Bergman. It was a quiet, thoughtful moment near the end of his amazing life when Gregory Peck, the legendary actor whose face was in some of Hollywood's most memorable movies, finally shared a secret he had kept in his heart for over 50 years. At age 87, after years of fame, family, and awards, he looked back not at his trophies or hit films, but at one woman who had left a forever mark on his heart, the bright and mysterious Ingrid Bergman. Their short but intense time together started in the late 1940s during the making of Spellbound in 1945, Alfred Hitchcock's gripping psychological thriller. Peck was a rising star known for his strong eyes and moral weight. Bergman was already a huge name, loved around the world for movies like Casablanca and Gaslight. On screen, their spark was obvious. But what most people didn't know was that this screen chemistry reflected something deeper and more personal off camera. Over the years, rumors floated among movie experts and close friends, but Peck always stayed politely quiet. He was married to Greta Kukkonen at the time, and both he and Bergman knew the risks to our careers, lives, and morals. Yet years later, in a very open interview shortly before he died, Peck finally let the truth out. With a soft, remembering voice and faraway look, he said, "Ingrid was the love of my life. I've never stopped thinking about her." This surprised people who heard it, not because it seemed unlikely, but because it proved what many had guessed for years. Peck explained that their bond was way more than just physical. He called Bergman brilliant, sensitive, brave, and a woman whose spirit shone brightly. He remembered her laugh, her smarts, her warmth, and the private talks they had between scenes, moments away from cameras when she was just Ingrid and he was just Greg. Peck said the relationship couldn't last back then. Both had other commitments and duties, but he never forgot her. Even after remarrying, raising kids, and diving into charity and activism, the memory of Ingrid stayed, a sweet, bitter what-if. Some people, he said, leave a mark on your heart that time can't erase. That was her. For Bergman, it seems the connection lasted too. Though she never talked openly about romance with Peck, her letters and diaries later suggested a warmth and respect deeper than just work. Peck's confession late in life wasn't just emotional, it was a big act of truth-telling. At a stage when people focus on legacy over weakness, he spoke not as a movie icon, but as a man who had loved deeply and privately, and who finally wanted the world to know. "I had a good life yet," he said, "a full one. But some things, even if brief, stay with you forever." That's what she was. Forever. In those last years, as Peck's silver hair and classy manner reminded fans of the quiet strength he always showed on screen, he shared with the world a hidden softness that made him even more real. It wasn't a confession from regret, but from cherishing a love not lost, but kept in memory. And so, as the end came for Gregory Peck's incredible life, one last moment stayed, not filmed, but written in the heart of a man who had bravely told his truth at last. On June 12, 2003, Gregory Peck, one of the most respected and legendary actors in American movie history, passed away peacefully in his sleep at age 87. The cause was bronchopneumonia, a serious lung infection that's especially risky for older people. He died at his longtime home in Los Angeles, California, the city that saw so much of his famous career and personal life. By his side in those last moments was his loving wife, Veronique Pisani-Peck, a French journalist and philanthropist he had married in 1955. Their connection had lasted nearly 50 years, and Veronique's steady presence at his bedside showed the deep love and partnership that defined their life together. Peck's death felt like the end of an era, and fans, co-stars, and admirers worldwide grieved deeply. His remains were placed in the Cathedral of Our Lady of the Angels in Los Angeles, a beautiful modern Catholic cathedral that is the main church for the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. The mausoleum where he rests has become a peaceful spot for people wanting to honor the man who brought so much dignity, honesty, and quiet strength to the screen. At his funeral, which was serious but deeply touching, one of the most moving parts was when actor Brock Peters gave the eulogy. Peters had played Tom Robinson, the black man wrongly accused of raping a white woman, whom Peck's character, the honest lawyer Atticus Finch, defended so strongly in the groundbreaking 1962 film To Kill a Mockingbird. That Peters was chosen to speak was very meaningful. It highlighted not just their work together, but the lasting power of the movie, praised for its stand on Roe, seal justice and doing the right thing. Peters' words celebrated not just the actor, but the principles Peck lived by on and off screen. The funeral brought out many top Hollywood names, with legendary actors, singers, writers, and producers there to say goodbye. Among them was Lauren Bacall, the deep-voiced actress who became famous in the same golden era of Hollywood that shaped Peck's career. Sidney Poitier, the first black actor to win the Academy Award for Best Actor and a longtime friend and fan of Peck, was there, as was singer and activist Harry Belafonte and his daughter, actress Sherry Belafonte. The guest list was like a roll call of entertainment greats, showing the huge respect Peck earned across years. Actor Harrison Ford and his partner Callista Flockhart came to honor a man Ford had called an inspiration. Veteran TV actors Mike Farrell and Shelley Fabares, known for their own work in TV and movies, also paid respects. Jimmy Smits, famous for strong roles in drama and law shows, came to salute the moral strength Peck stood for. Other big names who mourned included Louis Jourdain, the French actor who, like Peck, connected European and American movies, Dion Cannon and Stephanie Zimbalist, actresses with impressive careers, and Michael York, known for his classic roles and strong voice. Screen star Angie Dickinson was there, as was Larry Gelbart, the writer and producer famous for creating the hit TV show Maisy, and singer and pop star Michael Jackson, who openly admired old Hollywood icons. Angelica Houston, from a Hollywood family and a talented actress herself, attended with singer Lionel Richie and Oscar-winning actress Louise Fletcher. Tony Danza, loved for his TV comedy and drama roles, also came to honor the standard Peck set for leading men in Hollywood. Actress Piper Laurie, known for her emotional acting, was part of the long list of respected people. He who gathered not just to mark a death, but to celebrate a man who touched so many lives on screen and off with his grace, kindness, and steady sense of right and wrong.